Why do you wake up at 2 a.m. feeling like your brain is broken? For 99% of human history, that moment had a name, and it wasn't insomnia. Before we invented the light bulb, humans didn't sleep in one block. They lived by a rhythm called biphasic sleep. Your ancestors would fall asleep at dusk and wake up near midnight. This wakeful gap lasted for 1 or 2 hours of quiet reflection. It was a time for intimacy, storytelling, and deep social bonding. Then they would fall back into a second deep sleep until dawn. Your midnight wake-up call isn't a glitch in your brain. It is a biological memory of a world that was much slower. But that world was not gentle. For 300,000 years, your ancestors lived in small, tight-knit groups, and at night, the world became a very different and dangerous place. The darkness wasn't empty space, it was filled with apex killers. Massive cave lions, twice the size of modern lions, prowled the grass. Saber-toothed cats with 11-inch canines waited near the water sources. Short-faced bears, standing 12 feet tall, could outrun a horse. Being alone in the dark was a death sentence. You slept in a physical pile for warmth and safety, because your survival depended entirely on the people sleeping 5 feet away. At the center of that pile was fire. Fire wasn't just a tool, it was a 30-foot circle of safety that the deadliest predators on Earth could not enter. It gave our ancestors an extra 4 hours of time every night, hours they didn't have to spend hunting or gathering. They used that time to cook meat, which fueled our brain growth. But more than that, they used it to talk. During the day, conversation was practical. Animal tracks, water sources, gathering plants. But at night, 81% of conversation shifted towards stories and myths. Around the flickering flames, human culture was born. This nightly gap was the laboratory where we invented our identity. And here's the part that should stop you. We won. We killed every one of those predators. The cave lions, the saber-tooths, the 12-foot bears, gone. We built houses out of mammoth bone, packed the gaps with moss and mud, and sometimes brought livestock inside just for the extra heat. We conquered the one thing that made the ancient night dangerous. And somehow the dark still isn't safe. Because the thing we're afraid of now is being alone with our own thoughts. That fear is new. It didn't exist for most of human history because privacy like this didn't exist either. When the first sleep ended and the tribe woke in the darkness, there were no walls to retreat behind, so they invented something instead: mutual pretense. They pretended not to notice intimate moments or private conversations, an invisible boundary built entirely on trust. Even at 2 a.m., you were never truly alone. You could hear the breathing of your family and the crackle of a bone-fed fire. Loneliness, as we understand it today, may not have existed at all. Then, about 10,000 years ago, everything changed. We call it the agriculture trap. We started planting seeds and staying in one place, and it fed more people, but it demanded much harder labor. Farmers worked longer hours, ate worse diets, and died younger than hunters ever had. As populations grew, we built permanent structures, and eventually walls. For the first time in history, you could close a door and be completely alone. Physical privacy came with a psychological cost we're still paying. We became the first humans in history to regularly experience true loneliness. We have all the privacy we ever wanted, and we are more miserable than ever. Today, we spend roughly 90,000 hours of our lives at a job. Ancient humans spent about 15 to 20 hours a week on survival, and the rest of their time on exactly what they wanted. They carved bone flutes, they painted in deep caves, they made jewelry from seashells just to look good for the group. They didn't justify their existence through productivity. They woke up already free and already enough. We are currently spending our entire working lives trying to retire into the life they already had. Now we treat the 2 a.m. wake-up call as a malfunction. We take pills. We follow sleep hygiene routines designed to keep us unconscious for 8 straight hours. We have pathologized a rhythm that was once the bedrock of our culture. When you wake up in the middle of the night, your brain is still looking for the fire. It's scanning for a threat that no longer exists in your bedroom and finding instead only silence. Because we won the war against the dark so completely that we forgot how to live in it. So the next time you wake up at 2 a.m., don't reach for your phone. You are not failing at sleep. You are tapping into a 300,000-year-old tradition of midnight reflection, sitting in the same wakeful gap that birthed our first stories, our first myths, our very first sense of who we are. You aren't broken. You're just a traveler in a world that forgot how to rest.